Welcome back to my channel for another video. So it's been a while since we've done a trading video, so I thought I'd put one out this week. This was a good opportunity to put something out that I've not put out in a while. So this video is actually on it's an intraday swing trade that I took on the FTSE100. So basically what happened was on the European Open, I lost my position on the Open, scalping position, and lost just over £200, so it was like £230. I then waited for a massive rally to take place, and then what goes up must come down. You know, after the rally there has to be a pullback. You know, we always say this, after the sell-off there has to be a recovery. So I waited for quite a while, took a position, an intraday swing position. But the thing about this intraday swing position was I didn't use, you know, a great deal of my margin. I only used about 40% of my margin. I just didn't feel that the conditions were so right that I would risk so much margin. So I literally just risked 40%, which, you know, you've got to adapt. You've got to look at the market conditions and decide yourself, do you really want to risk more? Because every time you enter a trade, you know, there is an element of risk. There's always an element of risk. So again, you know, this is another opportunity, you know, that's there, and these are the opportunities that you must look for as well. You know, it's not just about scalping the open or scalping the close. You know, I do like to take these intraday swing positions as well. So it was an intraday swing position on the FTSE100 on the European Open, and a netted a £440 return. And as I said, I only used 40% of my margin. But the important thing about these intraday swing approaches as well, I'm going to look at other opportunities, and when you look for other opportunities as well, you've got to make sure the market conditions are correct. You know, you're looking for these massive rallies and then to short that massive rally, or, you know, if there's a massive sell-off, that you buy into that sell-off. So you've got to wait for these huge moves in the market to take place, and that's what it's all about. You wait for these huge moves to take place and then you capitalise off the reversal. Okay, so guys, hope you enjoyed this week's video. As usual, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And again, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on my Instagram, and that is sambora.00. Hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so this is just over 6 contracts on the FTSE100 on the European Open. Okay, so basically what's happened here is I actually took a red on the Open, trying to short the rally. Okay, so I mean, I didn't hold on to it too long. I let it go pretty quick, lost £230. And then I waited and waited and waited, and I decided to take a short position. Now I did have to wait quite a while for this position to go the way I wanted it to. But, you know, the reason I only took 6 contracts was because I did see this as maybe a little bit more risky than what I normally would. So I took the position. The spread was huge on it, by the way, absolutely huge. So you can see the blue line, that's where my entry point was. I did wait a long time, and this is the reason that I only played, say, 6 contracts on this, because there was such a huge amount of momentum, and I took my position when I thought that the rally had run out of steam. So I'm glad that I did only take 6 contracts. So it just goes to show you, you do have to change your approach depending on the market conditions. Okay, but again, I mean, look what you can see there. You can see this massive rally. You know, it's a huge rally, and these are the opportunities that you must look for. So again, this is an intraday swing. You know, these intraday swings, you keep them for anything from 15 minutes to 2 or 3 hours. Okay. Now at this stage, I was already committed to this. You know what I mean? I was already committed. You know, 500 odd pounds there. I was even more than that at one stage, but I was already committed to it. But because of that space that had already been created, i.e. the massive rally, you know, it gave me confidence to hold it, because I just knew that I had to come back down. I mean, it has to come back down, okay? It cannot stay where it is. It has to give back some of what it's taken, you know, it has to. So I waited and waited and waited, and obviously I've edited this video because the trade goes on for quite a while. But again, it gives me confidence to hold these positions because I've seen that rally that's already taken place. And listen, my entry, as it turns out, my entry was pretty poor on this, okay? Pretty poor. I was way off the mark here. Way off the mark. But listen, you know, not every trade that you place is going to be perfect. You know, it doesn't matter how long you're doing this. You still make mistakes. You still get it wrong. At the end of the day, of course you do. You know, of course you do, 100%. And, you know, if the market conditions were different, I wouldn't have held this for as long as I did. If I had used the usual margin that I use for a scalp position, there's no way I would have held this for this long. You know, one of the main reasons that I've held this position for as long as I have was because it was only 6 contracts. So I wasn't using all my margin. And again, on my point of view there, from my perspective, that was quite intelligent, because my entry was pretty diabolical, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, my entry was bad. Even like the spread was big, but my entry was still way off the mark. But I was intelligent with the position size that I took, i.e. just over 6 contracts, because that enabled me to hold this and to not have to worry about it too much. Because, you know, if I'd used more margin, I definitely would have been, you know, double the amount in a negative net than what I would have been, and I definitely would have closed it, because I wouldn't have held it for so long. So it just goes to show you, you know, sometimes you get your entry, you know, really badly wrong, as I did this morning. But if your position size is correct, and if the market conditions are correct, it means that you can hold it for a little bit longer. Now, you wouldn't do this when you're scalping. Okay, you can't hold these positions if you're scalp trading, because you're using a lot of your margin. Okay, so on this intraday swing, like I said, I was only using about 40% of my margin. So it does allow you to hold these trades for a little bit longer. And I knew I had to come back down at some stage. And listen, see, at the end of the day, I wasn't sure if I was going to get into a green position like this. You know, at one point I was thinking that the best possible outcome for me in this trade would be damage limitation. So maybe instead of losing £500 in this trade, I might only lose £200 or £300. So again, it's not all about making money. Okay, it's not always about making money. Sometimes it's about minimizing the risk. Sometimes it's about, you know, damage limitation. And that's what I thought this trade was. I thought this trade was a case of damage limitation. But, you know, luckily enough for me, I did get a little bit lucky here, to be fair, because as I said, my entry was absolutely appalling. It was atrocious. But again, you know, it allowed me to hold it because of the position size that I took. But you can see now it's you know, it's really sold off. Now, you can't again continue to hold this forever, because what will happen is eventually this will hit a major support level, and then it will reverse, and it might even just consolidate and hang where it is. So you can't hang too long. So I did look at this for a bit, and I did eventually decide that, do you know what, I was like £600 down at one stage, and I thought a good result would be if it was only down £200 or £300, and now I find myself in a nice negative net position. So I got to this stage where I was starting to think to myself, do you know what, you're pushing your luck here, aren't you? You're pushing your luck. So I just took it, 440. So there you have it, guys, £440 on an intraday swing on the FTSE 100 on the European Open. So again, going forward, you've got to diversify. You know, not necessarily in the instruments that you use, because I only use the same instruments predominantly, but just in market conditions. Okay. Another thing to let you guys know about as well is I recently created a company, and it's called samboraentertainment.com. So it's a company that I've created with like-minded individuals. So what we do is we create opportunities and VIP experiences, and it's quite a diverse approach, and the services that we provide is quite diverse as well. So check it out, samboraentertainment.com. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. See you again next week for more videos.